play-in predictions. The first two games that are going to be played are the 7 versus the 8 seed, the Eastern Conference and West, Hawks versus Heat. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty confident that Miami's going to roll by the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young historically is not good against Miami. This season, he's averaging 20 points and 10 assists. And surface level, it looks great, but he is shooting 35% from the field and averaging a boatload of turnovers against Miami. And Jimmy Butler, just since post All-Star break, has been one of the best players in the league. He's averaging 26. He's averaging 26, 6, and 6, shooting 61% from the field and 48% from three. Although it's on one attempt, it's still, it's a great number for Jimmy Butler. And Bam Adebayo against the Atlanta is averaging 25 and 10. So for me, I have Miami easily in this game. I think they'll put a lot of pressure on Trae Young, and they'll force their shooters to make shots. And Atlanta just doesn't have good enough shooters to win that game, I believe. So along with my pick for Miami, I have Bam Adebayo's 32.5 PRA. 25 and 10. He averages that against them. So I think he'll get that easily. I think Bam's going to have a big-time game.
What's the under on Trae Young points?
Trae Young, I think, is at like 24.5.
Because last year in that series, I've never seen a superstar shit the bed as, even Julius Randle levels. 15 points per game for Trae in 5 games, and he shot 32% from the field with 6.2 turnovers a game.
Trae Young fans will bring up the game winner, though, and trying to hope and pray to defend him. But that was a big stinker, no doubt about it. My pick here, similar as Joel, I'm with you on essentially everything you said. I just think the Miami Heat, when it comes to playing the Atlanta Hawks, simply have their number. Jimmy Butler, over the past 2 months, really has been one of the best basketball players in the world, just scoring at will defensively, especially around this time of year. This is where we start to see the true Jimmy Butler. There was a conversation, I think, Riv, you actually interacted with it. It was, of these 4, who's the worst defender of the group? And I remember Jimmy Butler being involved with that. Do you remember the other 3 names off the top of your head? If not, I could just move on.
OG, Jaden McDaniels, Jimmy Butler, and I forgot the 4th person.
And they were asking which one's the worst perimeter defender of the 4. And a lot of people were saying Jimmy Butler due to age. And understandably, of course, we're talking about Jaden McDaniels, who's been one of the better perimeter defenders in the league. OG Anunoby was one of the better defenders in the game all season long, for sure. But it can't be undersold how great of a defender Jimmy Butler is in his own right. Of course, we all know this. And then Bam Adebayo. He had one game where he dropped 30. So, yes, the numbers are where he averages 25 against the Hawks. I think that he needs to be a strong factor in this game for my prediction to be even more stamped than it already is. I just think that he needs to assert his dominance. The Heat, in order to have success, yes, it is all dependent on Jimmy Butler, but really the X factor is Bam Adebayo. So I like your selection for Boom Fantasy for sure. For me, I'm feeling a vibe with mine. I feel like sometimes I take these Boom Fantasy picks too serious. And I know come playoff time, regular season, Jimmy, he's not shooting threes. But come playoff time, he's a little bit more loose, a little bit more free in his game. And it's 0.5 threes. He just needs to make 1. So I'm feeling a vibe here. I'm taking the over on that.
Okay.
Dehls, you want to go or?
Go ahead, Riv. I got to finish some shit up real quick.
Oh, okay. So you're not even locked in. Got it.
My goodness,
God. We were getting violated, Riv. You remember that? We were getting violated before the show. And this
honestly, it's some shit for work that was supposed to be done. Shit just never got done. They're like, you didn't do it. I was like, no one told me to do it. So,
all right, fair enough. Understandable.
I think this is probably the easiest pick of the play-in. I got Miami. I just can't see a world where Spo Butler loses in a play-in game. You know, they haven't been good offensively this year, but play-in game, playoff mode, you mentioned it. Jimmy Butler, this is his time of the year. He likes to get in that mode, play a little loose, play a little free. And Miami defensively is still a good unit. You know, they still got Bam. They still got Jimmy Butler. All things considered, Spo's going to out-coach Quinn Snyder. Atlanta, they're so weird because they're such the middest team of the year. I really can't trust them in this situation, especially on the road, going to Miami. I like Jimmy Butler. For my boom pick, like Drew mentioned, Jimmy Butler, this is his time. He's feeling loose. He's feeling free. So I got the PNR over 40.5. I just think Jimmy's going to have a big time game tomorrow. He's going to do his thing offensively. The assist is going to be there. The rebound is going to be there. Look out for a triple-double. That could be in play too. This is just Jimmy Butler's time to shine. And realistically, Atlanta has nothing to hold Jimmy. I know we like DeAndre Hunter, AJ Griffin's cool, but they don't have anything to hold Jimmy Butler.
whose birds are chirping in the background?
That is me. I apologize.
My goodness, Riv.
Damn, loud ass
Now
bird.
listen, Riv.
What
I
is he
need you.
supposed to do there? What is he supposed to do, really? Birds are. I'm assuming it's right outside his window.
They came
My
for the
goodness.
Hawks series. I'll take the over on
Facts.
Trae Young turnovers at 4.5. I'll also take the over on DeAndre Hunter, 14.5 points. Last year in the Miami series, he was their best player, played very well. And John Collins, after mangling his finger, has made 38% of his triples in the last 21 games. I'm going to still take the under, though, in his points. What's it at?
24 and
Help me
a half.
out, Boom. No, there's just straight points, 12.5.
No, John Collins.
Oh,
John Collins.
You said John Collins is 12 and a half.
I'll take the under, though, on his points. I think he's bound for a regression game against Miami.
Now, Riv, I want to let you know something. Two things. One, your mic, I don't think is you're not using it on StreamYard.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think
No,
it's
Riv,
connected.
you're most definitely not.
Hit
Unfortunately.
settings, audio.
And number two, I'll be sure after the podcast to make sure I send you some lights.
I'm back.
Dude, it's funny you
back.
say that because obviously I was not on the podcast last time, but I seen you guys post the TikToks, and I'm just like, yo, it is dark as fucking Riv's room. Why does bro not have any light?
You don't have
I
any
got an extra
windows?
light, Riv.
Huh?
I got extra light if you need. It's big though. I don't know if you're gonna be able to fit it in your vehicle. If not, we can send you lights. But my pick for this game is interesting because Jimmy Butler's been hyped up a lot. The Heat have been hyped up a lot. Possible rematch of ECF last year. Everyone's telling me like, "Oh, do you want to see the Heat? Do you want to see the Hawks?" Obviously, I'm rooting for the Hawks. They're an easier team, I think, in a 7-game series than the Heat. But what a lot of people are overlooking is this Miami team has been playing well offensively recently, but their defense has taken a step back. They're bottom 10 in defensive efficiency over this past month of the season. So with Jimmy Butler playing well and playing a lot better playoff Jimmy Butler, we've seen their defense kind of regress over this last half of the season. But it doesn't change my pick. I'm still taking the Miami Heat. The Hawks don't play serious basketball. Defensively, they really don't give any effort. We mentioned Trae Young's struggles against them. And I think at the end of the day, you're just going to see the veterans that the Heat have, the leadership from Eric Spoelstra. It's just a team you're going to trust more in a do-or-die game. It is one game, so if Trae Young gets hot and is able to drop 40, things can change. But historically, I think you have to go with the Heat here. And they kind of feel like the easiest pick out of all of these playing games.
So now, just staying on topic of the East, Wednesday's game, Bulls versus Raptors. Do any of you guys have Toronto winning? Because I have the Bulls winning this. I think they've been more of a hot team. I trust Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan in this type of setting. And the Raptors, to me, I don't know, man. I know Pascal's good. I know OG is good. They have a lot of good players, but not enough players that I feel like are going to change this type of game. I think with Alex Caruso's defense, with the Pat Bev addition, what he's brought to their team, I like the Bulls in this game.
I understand where you're
Talk to
coming
me,
from. I'm sorry, Riv. This is your team. Go ahead.
No, this can you guys hear me now? Is it?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sounds good.
A lot better.
Thank you. Yeah, it was connected to my MacBook. That was some bullshit. But what's the name? No, this is more for you, Drew. You're a Raptors and Zach LaVine guy. I know where I'm going with this. So
That's
this is
real.
For you.
I appreciate Riv, yo. You don't know how much that means to me.
Please don't say nothing dumb though.
I'll try not to. So the truth of this season is that the Raptors have the season series 2-1, but like Joel said, the Bulls seem to be the hotter team. The one thing you can say about these matchups recently that the Raptors have played, the games that they should win, they've won. Outside of a game versus the Pacers, they've lost to teams like Milwaukee, they've lost to teams like Boston, but in terms of the teams that they need to handle, a Charlotte, a Detroit, teams of that nature, they win. So they win the games that they should. But this probably is the hardest game of the play-in games for me to decide because how close these two teams are. Similar where defensively these two teams are very, very good. But of course, Chicago has been the better defense since the All-Star break. And honestly, since the new year, since February, they've been one of the best defenses in the NBA. I feel like with the way that Zach LaVine has been scoring of recent, I don't think that Toronto has the offense, the true firepower to keep up with Zach and DeMar together, especially if they're on. But this is going to be a very close game. I don't want it to think like this is a Bulls blowout, but I'm going with the Bulls reluctantly.
All right. I'm glad he said we're all in agreement. I just don't think the teams are close. I think defensively, we've been better. And after the All-Star break, offensively, we just have more guys that can break you down, get you in the pick and roll. We have better shooters. Zach LaVine's been hot. DeMar DeRozan's still like Toronto's like one of the worst half-court offenses in the league. They just don't have enough guys that can generate offense in a half-court set in one-on-one isolation. They just don't have enough guys. So if the game does come down to the clutch, who do you trust? I mean, Spicy P, yeah. But who else? Like Joel said, there's just not many guys on Toronto where you trust to go get a bucket, go create for others. And we have that. So I'm leaning with the Bulls.
I think that I'm just going to go with the Bulls also against the Hawks if they face. I think the Bulls wind up getting the 8th seed in the East.
I agree.
The Bulls are definitely better than the Hawks, the Raptors. But the Raptors are a really good matchup with OG and Freddie defensively. I think that game will be close. I don't care who wins. They're both mid. But it's important to know with Jakob Poeltl, the Bulls have 107 defensive rating. And I think they are, though mid, better on that side of the floor when he's out there at center.
Okay.
So who are you picking?
Okay, behind that.
I'll take the Bulls.
Yeah, I think I said in the last pod, I don't know if either team is going to get to 100 points. This is going to be a defensive battle, probably a pretty ugly game. Both teams maybe shoot around 40% from the field. It's not a game I'm that happy about watching. But I have to go with the Bulls. They both play pretty good defense. The Bulls have just been a lot better, especially since the start of the 2023 calendar year. And offensively, you're not looking at either teams as juggernauts, but you have to look at Chicago with DeMar and Zach LaVine and just trust their shot-making ability, their shot-creating ability, and overall just skill over the guys that the Toronto Raptors have. I know you got Siakam, you got Fred, Scotty Barnes could show flashes, but I think consistently over those 48 minutes, you have to go with one of the better duos in the league and just hope defensively, you're able to lock in like you have been all year.
Let's line things up and go on to the game in the Western Conference that is interesting. Lakers versus Timberwolves, although it is Timberwolves versus Lakers because it's at Staples Center or Crypto Arena, I should say. The Timberwolves are winning this game, man. Listen.
You don't even believe it.
The Timberwolves are winning this game. When you talk about all the adversity they've been through this season, they're geared up to win a game like this. You're talking about do or die moment. I need one game. What player would I rather go with than Anthony Edwards in that one game?
I'm cringing.
I'm cringing.
Game.
There's multiple people.
One game.
No, he's making me cringe. This guy sounds like Max Kellerman when asked Andre Iguodala or Steph Curry, who do you want taking the last shot? Except in this scenario, with all due respect to Anthony Edwards, how amazing he is as a basketball player, you're putting him in the conversation of I'm trusting Anthony Edwards over LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Okay, go ahead.
Listen,
continue.
I'm trusting Anthony Edwards.
I respect the agenda.
You better respect it. No, you better respect the Timberwolves, not just an agenda. Not just an agenda.
Crazy.
You better respect Cat because Cat's going to come out to play. He's been hearing all the disrespect. He's going to come out to play. Kyle Anderson, slow-mo. Listen, he's a good defender too. No, don't get it. Don't get it twisted. He can play defense. Mike Conley, the leadership he adds. Listen, man. The Timberwolves are going to win this game. They're going to win this game. And the other night when they faced the Lakers, they should have won. But, they had a stomach virus. Everybody was sick, and they kind of blew a second-half lead. Listen, it's not going to happen this time around, Drew. And the big reason why they blew the lead is because Rudy Gobert is a non-factor offensively. Really? I think Rudy Gobert is an addition by subtraction in this game because I think their offense opens up. I think Ant is a better player when Cat is the 5. I do. I think he's a better offensive player. Cat locks in defensively. You saw that block he had in the Pelicans game. Listen, he's a two-way superstar. He's coming, baby.
Super
tough. Ant-Man is the guy. He's
never say Cat's a two-way player again. Never.
He's saying Anthony Edwards. He's saying Anthony Edwards.
Okay.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards had one of the craziest blocks I've seen.
You better respect, John, because I know you disrespect the Wolves. You better respect, buddy.
What's going to be the excuse, Joel, when the Lakers beat the Timberwolves in the play-in? Is it going to be
what's going to be
out?
I can't wait.
Kyle Anderson?
No, it's very easy.
Is it going to be Jaden McDaniel? Is it going to be Jared Vanderbilt on Anthony Edwards, or is it going to be the stomach flu that they're still
Listen, Jared Vanderbilt and Anthony Edwards, he gives them tough matchup problems for sure. I respect Vando as a defender. The excuse will be Jaden McDaniel's absence. That's the guy I'm worried about that's not in this game because he's the LeBron stopper. I mean, when he has LeBron and Rikers Island when he's on him. Jaden McDaniels, when I saw he was matching him against LeBron, I went on Boom Fantasy. I took the under on LeBron's points like that. And guess what? He had 18 points that game. He did not do great that game scoring. So for me, Jaden McDaniels is the biggest absence in this game. But do or die game, it's Anthony Edwards, baby. It's Anthony Edwards, baby. And listen, that's why I'm going with Anthony Edwards, 27.5 points on Boom Fantasy over. He's going to have 30 plus. You better book it. The house is winning there,
you better book it. So enjoy that. Enjoy that money, all right?
You better book it.
I'm just going to assume you guys want me to go next. I'm just going to assume here. So, Joel.
Never get enough Lakers talk.
I appreciate that. Thanks very much. Joel, you mentioned Jaden McDaniels. I do agree. I do think that is the biggest blow. And for more reasons than one, why Gobert is – what do you mean by that? Anyways, I want to give a credit to Trevor Lane. This is excuse me. He's the host of the Lakers Nation. He's one of the main accounts on Lakers Twitter that I pay attention to. He goes and says, better without Gobert. In 304 possessions with Karl-Anthony Towns on the floor, but no Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid, or Jaden McDaniels, the Wolves are plus 9.5 points per 100 possessions. Good for 95th percentile in the NBA per cleaning the glass. They've been great when Gobert's not on the floor because it allows for the spacing to be there. And now you surprised me with adding Naz Reid into the mix and also Jaden McDaniels because for sure, no Jaden McDaniels is a blow. No Rudy Gobert, that's going to hurt you defensively, especially we saw the last matchup with the Wolves and the Lakers where Gobert went out with, I believe, some knee. I believe it was a knee injury. When he was out, Anthony Davis went to work on Karl-Anthony Towns because Karl-Anthony Towns cannot hold Anthony's nutsack. No way, no how. So I will say the big loss is Naz Reid because now they do lack that depth at the big position. Naz Reid was playing phenomenal basketball for them. This was really his breakout season in a contract year. He was going to get himself paid. And it's really unfortunate that he did have the I believe it's a wrist injury. That really is very bitter. It's a very bitter taste if you are a Wolves fan. However, it's the Lakers. For all the reasons I listed where Naz Reid's not going to play, you do not have the big depth, especially with Gobert missing time too. You don't have that defense to really have anyone try and lock up Anthony Davis because Anthony Davis, we're going to go to my Boom Fantasy pick. I am taking Anthony Davis's over-under in terms of points this game, 25.5, because, again, there is no one to defend Anthony Davis on this Wolves team. And you said it, the quote-unquote LeBron stopper. Credit where credit is due. Jaden McDaniels did an excellent job on LeBron James the last time they matched up. You said he didn't even score 20 points. However, he still was able to be effective in other ways. And now that Jaden McDaniels is unfortunately not going to suit up tomorrow night, LeBron James is also going to have a field day of his own right. Yes, I think that this Wolves team does, quote-unquote, deserve respect. They're a very talented group, but unfortunately, they're not all healthy right now, and the Lakers just happen to be one of the hottest teams in the game right now. So I'm going with the Los Angeles Lakers. You said that you want to trust Anthony Edwards. You're taking him over anyone else. I'm just going to put my chips all in the basket of Anthony Davis and LeBron James.
Can't be mad at that. I mean, I would have respect for the Wolves if Jaden McDaniels was out there, if Naz Reid was out there.
So you're saying you got no respect for them now?
Rudy Gobert, listen, I almost like in the sense of Rudy Gobert missing this game because like you alluded to, Joel, the fact that you can play cat at the 5 and you have to space out AD and he can't just sit in the paint and wait for you to drive to the basket and block shots. That's a huge positive, I think, for this Timberwolves team. But at the end of the day, the Wolves team is lacking talent to beat the Lakers. The Lakers being hot is one thing. I understand that. They haven't beaten a ton of great teams, so I don't know like how much of this really great stretch I take into account, especially once we get into the playoffs and they're going to be in a 7-game series against a team that's actually good at playing basketball. But in a 1-game scenario where you have LeBron and you have AD and your opponent is missing their best perimeter defender, their best rim protector, even though I think it is a positive, and their best backup big, it's really hard for me to find any scenario outside of Ant dropping fucking 50 points that the Timberwolves are going to win this game. I don't know what route you're going to have to go outside the Lakers just being cold because we know they're going to play defense. They've been one of the best defensive teams in the NBA since the All-Star break. We know they're going to play defense. So outside the Lakers shots just straight up not going in, Maybe Anthony Davis isn't as aggressive like we see time to time. Maybe Austin Reeves stops getting some of those foul calls in a playoff scenario that he got in the regular season. But outside of the Lakers screwing this up, I can't see a way where the Timberwolves can take this game and win it with all the players they're missing.
Listen, you make a good point, Dehls. You do make a good point. But I'm going to trust the Wolves, man. That's my heart. That's where my heart's going with. I do find it a bit challenging because the McDaniels point, but we're not talking about the other factor, man. It's going to be 6-on-5 out there. It's going to be the refs and the Lakers starting 5 versus the Wolves starting 5. That's what it's going to be.
You're still taking the Wolves.
Yeah, listen, because I'm going to go
is
one game do or die. One game do or die.
The Lakers are going to get the call. That's how we're going to kind of get out of this.
Do or die. Let's get it.
It's simple to me, boys. It's very simple to me. The only reason he is taking the Minnesota Timberwolves is for once in his life, he's deciding to pick a side, and I can respect that. But at the same time, he needs to. We got to put on a show here. You understand what I'm saying? He knows it in his heart, in his soul. They're cooked. The Wolves are not winning this game.
No seventh seed has lost in the playing tournament so far.
Drew and I behind the scenes have already said that, listen, we're not going to pay out nothing. We're just going to pay out the regular amount. This is just for show. We've already discussed that.
Oh, you guys are frauds. This is what's happening. Okay.
He's capping like hell. Y'all are gullible as shit, man. And it really makes me sick.
I know. Drew, I know you would take that shit.
I'm about to say, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? When it comes to Joel, it's just something about taking his money that is just a little extra special. That's just what it is.
Nothing he can do about it, right?
No, absolutely not.
Tying your heart, Joel, by the way, to this Timberwolves team is wild. That's a roller coaster.
It was his 1 seed. I'll respect it. Like at least you can say, well, they didn't play.
Shit, Dehls, I had him as a top 4 seed too, but I jumped off the bandwagon at a certain point when I realized this shit ain't working. I really do think the Timberwolves are a better team in the playoffs without Rudy Gobert, and because of how pampered he is, everything needs to be around him. We need to get him the ball in the post. All of the fit limitations. I really think the Timberwolves are going to play more inspired in this game. Their biggest issue this year has been engagement, energy, and effort, and consistency. Transition defense example. And I feel like without Rudy Gobert, they're going to play harder. They're going to play more connected. And they're going to show, hell, we're a better team without him. This team won more games last year with Cat healthy, 46. And against this Lakers team, we're going to play balls to the wall. We don't care. We've heard all the noise this year, but no Pat Bev. We're missing the leader. I truly think Kyle Anderson has become a leader for this team. Rudy Gobert wasn't. He can't handle pressure. Teammates don't like him. This Minnesota group, the guys they have right now between Cat, Ant, Mike Conley, and Kyle Anderson, they're going to play together. And I do think Anthony Edwards, based off of how hot he got last year, can put on a show against this Lakers defense because they do not have a wing defender that can truly put him in a straitjacket other than Jared Vanderbilt. But will Vando be on the floor in the closing minutes? That's the bigger question.
Who are you taking, John?
He didn't say.
He never picks a team. It's just analysis and no picks.
I break this down, Dehls. I put it into a fine wine, and then I give you the solution.